2020 Coronavirus Learning Disability and Autism Leader of the Year. What a fantastic award there. Ladies and gents, we've got Max Green. Max, welcome to the podcast.
Hello all. Thank you for having me on as well. I've been watching after the last couple of weeks, feeling the heartbreak of The Undertaker's retirement.
Just tell us a little bit about your award that you've won recently there.
Yeah, so obviously coronavirus has had a kind of big effect on the world this year. And a lot of the year I've just been spending raising awareness for autism, because I've got autism, ADHD, OCD and epilepsy myself. It's a big list. It's almost as big as Ric Flair's World Championship reigns. So I continue to try and raise awareness for that throughout the year. So I've done about, I think, 19 speeches this year. Most of them have been virtual because of the pandemic. But I also done a YouTube series earlier this year called The Autism Connections, where I just brought autistic people, but also people that didn't even heard about autism or know of it, and just kind of interviewed them to kind of see what their understanding is, the stories behind the people that have got it.
The steel trap of knowledge over there, SP3. But you did mention Stu's Wrestling Podcast.
You know what? This is what I'm saying, man. I've had people hitting me up saying he's not mentioning you enough. I'm only kidding. No, Stu is the most passionate person out there. I've never known anybody with as much passion as he has, and he does some incredible interviews. And I'm not just saying that just to make up. He knows that as well. He knows.
I could do with calming down a bit sometimes.
Passionate man.
Thank you, John. Thank you for that.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate it, mate.
You're welcome, guys. You guys are excellent. You guys are awesome. I just love being around passionate people. I can't say I'm the most passionate person currently for the current product. I'm probably the most miserable one here amongst you guys, to be quite honest with you.
In fact, let's start. How did the anxiety class come about? Was that something that just kind of came up in that you'd seen or you was offered to go to?
A while ago, I started a course with basically just like normal skills and things, and then during lockdown they said, if you want, we got an anxiety course online that you could do. So I tried it online, but I just couldn't get on. Yeah. So then they offered me to go into the building about 2 months or so ago when lockdown started getting not as bad.
What are some of the best things that you find chill you out or get you more relaxed when you do hit those heights of the anxiety?
Probably watching wrestling and just talking about wrestling as much as possible. That just really helps.
I think it was like a calming class.
Okay.
And I took the guy I was supporting. He got nothing from it, but he had something like this tape went in, and then there was this guy talking in the most boringest voice. It was like, "You are happy. You're always happy."
It's a bit of a mix, but I can go to wrestling shows with like thousands of people and go into London perfectly fine, but I can't go into my town without getting really anxious.
I'd just like to say a massive thank you, starting off with Powered 4 TV. They've been there for me pretty much since day one. John Scott, when I interviewed him, the interview is on YouTube somewhere on my profile, on my channel, so go check that one out. There's a lot more big things coming with Powered 4 TV. Can't really say what yet, but big things for 2021. Maybe sooner, not sure. Probably 2021. So Powered 4 TV, John Scott, the other John Scott, Jesse, and all the other guys. Thank you so much. I'm so privileged to be able to call you my family, pretty much. I have a backdrop with your logo on it. I'm so privileged to have you guys supporting me. So, another company I want to another person I want to thank is Stu from Stu Wrestling Podcast. Mate, thank you so much for all the help you've gave me during my adventure, and I'm sure you'll continue to give me all the support. Okay guys, so then we have Simon from Keep It Locked, Simon Hill. So nothing but respect for these guys, especially Simon and Stu. These two literally have the best podcast, two of the best podcasts in the world right now to do with wrestling, and I cannot thank them both enough. And then we got 1310 Apparel, my sponsor. Josh, mate, thank you so much. Can't wait to do more with you soon. Definitely going to have you on the podcast at some point. And then we have Superstar Pro Wrestling. Guys, thank you so much as well. My other sponsor. You guys, I know you've only sponsored me for a few days, but to end 2020 like this, it's brilliant for me. Absolutely brilliant. Another shout out is Mike Angus. Thank you so much, mate, for always supporting me. You're awesome, and I can't wait to see you ring announce next year at TNT. Trying to think if there's anybody else I'm missing, guys. I'm sorry if I missed any of you. There's so many of you. I'd like to thank all my other wrestling friends.
Obviously, Mark, just give us a little bit of a brief background, like some of the your experiences, your early experiences within care, like how you got into it, what made you want to get into it.
Yeah, so I started when I was 17 and I volunteered in a learning disability care home. Wasn't something I ever thought of as a career, to be honest, until I walked through that door of that care home. I'd never really have even explored social care. I think the people I was supporting were like the same age as me. They were like 18, 19. And it was just going to the park, going bowling, swimming, cinema, things that at that age I would have been doing anyway with my friends. And I didn't see it as a job. And I stayed there for a year till I was 18. And then I applied for a full-time job and was lucky enough to have accepted and got it. But I think probably about 6 months later down the line, I saw a lot of abuse. Which it did impact me. I knew it was wrong, but it was hard because, you know, those carers that you're working alongside, I've worked alongside them for 18 months, they become your friends. Mm-hmm. But I've always stood up, I've always wanted to do the right thing, and I did whistleblow. And it ended up in court. Some of the carers were arrested, put into prison. And I think from that moment, I remember coming out of that courtroom and thinking, I want to go further in social care. I want to make a difference. I deferred from uni during that time, and I decided just to cancel my application to uni. And then I just kind of worked my way up within social care. Everywhere I've gone, whatever role it is, whether it's learning disabilities, elderly care, I've always spoken out. And I think I remember back to when I was obviously 18 years old and that abuse, and none of those residents there that were being abused could have spoken out. It's a bit like now, obviously, you know, I'll use any opportunity I can to speak to anybody I can, news reporters, journalists, just to, you know, to do the right thing. But yeah, going back, you know, I've worked in a range of different care settings now.
Like they understand what you're trying to do, and obviously you're somebody similar to me that does think out of the box, does want to sort of throw in these dare and challenge the status quo a little bit. But I know some CQC, they are a little bit off-put by it, and they want to see the kind of tick box be done first, if you will, and they're not really looking at the connecting part of it with people. But where do you sit with that yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think sadly it is a tick box exercise, and yeah, like yourself, I like to do things differently, and you know, as opposed to just doing a generic tick box supervision or appraisal, is actually do something different. And but they don't like it. I think they just like everybody to be standard.
I had this big kind of realization with CQC that I know like a lot of care homes, they go for the outstanding, or they want the outstanding. It's their big kind of main thing. But I'd seen, let's say, a couple of homes that I knew really well get outstanding, and I was like, really? How? Like it just didn't seem possible. Is it the luck of the draw of who you get? Is the way it's conducted outdated?
But I completely agree with what you said. There's services out there that I know. I've got friends that work in those care homes that have outstanding, and they say that, you know, there's nothing outstanding about them.
Have community nurses, and used to have the same social worker at least for a couple of years at least. Now often it's mainly your social worker is the services themselves. There is no named person, even though they'll give you a name. There is no such thing. I don't know what happens with you, Mark, but like towards the end of my time, we never had a thing where a yearly review was ever was ever attended by a multiple amount of people, because that just wasn't a thing anymore. It used to be. You used to have the doctors, maybe the psychiatrist comes in, the social worker, maybe a community nurse, all these people, the parents, you have as much input as you can. But now that in the end, it just become a piece of paper. It was something you fill in and send back, and that was it. I don't know if that's still the same with you guys.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think I remember back when I first started doing reviews, and it looked at kind of what the person was doing, what they wanted to do, where they were going. Whereas now it just kind of focuses on, are they good? Are they not so good? What's working well? What's not working well? And that's it. And it's like a half-hour sit-down meeting as opposed to it being like half a day where it used to be. But yeah, I mean, I even get it now. They're like, oh, the review's going to be on X day at X time. Can you let the parents know? And I'm like, well, can't you let the parents know? You're the one hosting the meeting, I'm just an attendee, but you end up being the admin and they just kind of dump it all on you and expect you to take over. But
you've been all over as much as you can, and you don't have a problem with speaking up. And I kind of feel like we need more people like you that can do that, because I do feel like, you're somebody that, you're not bothered by what somebody is going to think. You've got strong opinions and you're going to stick with them and you want them heard, which is great. Where do you lie with this? Why do you think this is like so much of become a problem? I know we spoke about perception, but in times like this, I do feel like people with learning disability especially have been somewhat let down a little bit. And, us as carers with testings and stuff like that, it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I think some of the issue is that there aren't enough managers and those out there leading services that will speak out. I think a lot of them that want to are gagged by company policy, and obviously their directors saying that, no, you can't do that. And, I did an interview on Channel 4 and they wanted one other manager from a care home that either had the virus or didn't have it. They just wanted somebody to come on. And, I put it on a forum of over 2,000 managers. And I said, BBC4 look. So it's not even your face on there. It's just going out on the radio. Yeah. And the radio had said, we can change your voice. We can use a fake name. 100% it won't come back. But there was no manager out there that I could find that was willing to come forward and speak. And I kind of thought there's over 2,000 of us in this group. Like, if nobody's going to come forward and, this is why social care is at the forefront in the media. Like nothing's ever going to change.
Yeah.
And I do worry when we've got, some of the care ministers at the moment in government that just aren't fighting social care at all. And I kind of think I can understand why society doesn't value us more, because I kind of think, well, if I was an outsider looking in, I would think, well, even the ministers for care aren't battling for social care. It's all about health, and I get that healthcare is extremely important, but I don't think even nobody speaks out about the issues. I mean, we've got obviously Matt Hancock saying that care homes are all ring fenced and everything's fine and hunky dory, and I think then the public think that actually it is. And I know in the early days when I started speaking out about the PPE issues, everybody was like, well, Matt Hancock said that all care homes have got it, and I'm like, well, actually we haven't. But then you end up in a battle with people because they're like, well, actually the government have said you have. And, I know as an outsider, if I was looking in, well, if somebody from government has said that all care homes have got it, then surely all care homes have got it. So why would you then, you wouldn't expect somebody to be stood there on national TV lying. But yeah, I think we need more people that are working in care, whether that's care workers, managers, leaders, ops managers. I think we just need more people speaking out. And I think, like you said, I'm happy to do it, but I'm just one voice in millions of people. And, I think we get a lot of people that will sit behind, I do it all the time, but on Twitter and Facebook and write your comments and whatever, but they never go anywhere unless somebody's sitting there watching somebody in that raw emotion. But yeah, I think it's hard. I think you probably know as well as I do that companies have basically gagged anybody because of policies and procedures and media, and there's no way of speaking out without repercussion. But